just as when you receive prasad in the Gurdwara, you put your hands together and get your hands ready to receive. In the same way, when you receive the Gur Prasad of the wisdom, you can't do it with your mind full of other thoughts, just like your hands cannot receive prasad if they're full of other things. So take a moment to get your mind ready to receive. Ask within your own space, do your own personal ardas for what it is that you want to receive. Get your mind ready. The Guru's wisdom isn't free for you to take. It is for us to beg for. So I shall start with the mantra, and when you're ready, take a deep breath in and then repeat the mantra after me. Ik Onkar. Take a deep breath in. Ik Ik Onkar. Ik Ik Onkar. And breathe in and breathe out. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So in this session, we're sitting today in a yoga studio, and a question that often gets asked is, what is the relationship between the Guru's wisdom and yoga? Is it okay to do some yoga? Are Sikhs yogis? So today I'd like to explore this idea and how we can further our understanding of what it means to be a yogi and how this fits in with the Guru's message. One of the most interesting phenomenon that's happening all around the world is that the world is crying out for spiritual wisdom. The world is crying out for spiritual experiences because the world has realized that what is out there hasn't delivered the happiness that it claimed to. And one of the reasons that motivated me to start the work that I do now through the Nanak Naam charity was when I saw lots of young Sikhs say to me that Sikhi doesn't have any spirituality left in it, that we have to go elsewhere to look for spirituality. So my question is, what kind of Sikhi have we been teaching them if they feel that there's no spirituality? When we come from a tradition where the Guru was crowned with the title of the King of Yoga, Raj Yoga Takhtadi and Guru Ramadas, when our Guru is being titled as the head of all the yogic schools, why is it that we have now come to the realization that spirituality exists somewhere else? I want to really solidify this understanding with you. How the Guru was considered the head of spiritual schools in India. You're all familiar with the story of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the 9th Guru, when the Mughal armies were invading India and they were forcefully converting everyone. And we all hear the story that the Pandits from Kashmir went and asked Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji for help. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why did they ask Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji for help? Why would they ask Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji for help? So let me tell you a little bit about how I understand why the Gurus were the people who the spiritual masters went to for help. You know, when the common people were being converted, they were being asked, do you accept Islam? Do you want to be converted? Or do you want to die? That's your choice. The people said, the common villagers said, well, we only do whatever our seniors tell us to do, whatever the priest tells us to do, whatever our elders tell us to do. If you can convince them, then we'll just follow what they tell us to do. So go and convert the elders, go and convert the seniors. So they went to the local priest in India of their local villages, and he says, well, I'm answerable to the head of my school of thought. And like this, they kept going back to all of them. Well, who are you answerable to? And when it came finally to the highest schools of spiritual wisdom in India, they said, we're answerable to one person. We only follow one person. Even though we all have different religious practices, all the religious schools of India accept that right now, today's day and age, the highest spiritual person in this land belongs in the house of Nanak. If you can convince him, if you can convert him, then we're all willing to convert. So the reason the Kashmiri Pandits went to the house of Guru Nanak was because the house of Guru Nanak had been given the title of the highest spiritual wisdom in the whole land. This is the tradition. We talk about Raj Yoga being given to Guru Ramdas, but the fact is, Guru Ramdas wasn't the first one to receive Raj Yoga, it was Guru Nanak. Then the next Guru, then the next Guru. And because we understand within the Sikh tradition that nothing stops with that Guru, whatever one Guru gets, when it's the Guru's time to pass it on, it all goes to the next Guru. So Guru Ramdas Ji, when he passed Guru Gaddi on to the 5th Guru, Raj Yoga went on to the 5th Guru, and the same way went all the way to Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And today, the head of all spiritual wisdom across the whole world is Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And in that tradition, the students of that tradition are saying, I don't find spirituality in Sikhi anymore. I need to go do other spiritual practices. I need to go on silent retreats. I need to go on meditation retreats. I need to go and do this. I need to go and do that. Now, there's no problem practicing those things. By all means, go and try everything. I say go and try those things. But what we're seeing in the world today is that everybody is talking about meditation, everybody's talking about mindfulness. But the world today has taken a practice of spirituality and has not taken the wisdom of spirituality. Because if you go to the random person on the street and say, do you want to become one with the oneness? They'll say, that's not why I come to the yoga studio. I come here because yoga is good for me. It feels nice. It's relaxing. I feel meditative. I feel calm. So the practices of Indian spirituality have always come with Indian spiritual wisdom. But now it's gone out and it's become commercial. And Indian spiritual wisdom is no longer being taught, just the practices are being taught. And so that's half the wisdom. And so now, if you ask someone, what are the benefits of yoga, what are the benefits of meditation? They say, it's to make me feel relaxed. They haven't understood what the true meaning of yoga is, what's the true meaning of doing these practices. It was never just to help you relax. Meditation is not the same as just lying on the beach and relaxing. It is part of a deeply spiritual practice. So the word yoga needs to be understood. Yoga has been described as union. So a true spiritual yogi is one who's interested in one thing alone, which is to connect, to unite. A spiritual union. And if somebody asks, are Sikhs yogis? The answer is yes. Because the Guru says, I am a yogi. But not a yoga of postures, a yoga of the mind. Gurbani says that I do yoga. But the way I do yoga is to connect through Naam and Kirtan. Because connecting is the path of yoga. Guru says, Jog Banya Tera Kirtan Gaye. I have become a yogi by singing your Kirtan. So, the people who really know what yoga is know that the techniques are secondary, that the connection is the primary thing. That is why in India you have multiple types of yoga. Kundalini yoga, Hatha yoga, there are many types of yoga. And they're all practicing something slightly different. But the teachers of that know that these are entry points. They're all entry points to the final spiritual destination of union. Now the question is, union with what? Who is uniting with who? Are you uniting with something? Is something uniting with you? So, we have to try to understand this concept of union a little bit deeper. You know, every time when you go to a Sikh wedding, you always hear this line, Tanpir ena akhiye, yeah? Man and woman are not sent to be just man and woman who sit together, yeah? Bain ikatthe hoye. Ek jyot doi murti, tanpir kahiye soy. That if you have one union, one light, that is what a true wife and husband is. And I always listened to this and I thought, fantastic, that's a great message to give at the Lama, until I studied it. And I realized that Shabad has nothing to do with the man and woman. The Shabad is talking about the woman, the divine feminine energy of the Gursik, and the union with the divine husband. Do you see? Even within Sikhi, we have taken spiritual concepts and made them worldly. So no wonder people don't understand the spiritual context of Sikhi. Even a spiritual phrase that's talking about the connection between man and divine has been reduced to man and wife, even though that's not what the Shabad is talking about. So let's talk about this example of Ek Jyot Doye Murti, because that is what we're all aiming to do, regardless of if you're married or not. It's got nothing to do with a worldly marriage. Two different forms, but they need to be recognized with one light. So, what is this talking about? The union can never be, I am uniting with God. I am uniting with God. Most of the time when you go to the Sikh weddings, they say that the whole point of this Shabad means that the boy and girl, the bride and groom, they have to walk together on the same path and they have to have the same thoughts, the same ideas. Worldly definition, nothing to do with spiritual. Even if you have the same ideas, how are you one Jyot? Doi Murti, two forms, how are you one Jyot? That's Ek Soch, Doi Murti. But that's not Ek Jyot. So we have to understand that where we have reduced Sikhi and Gurmat from a material, from a spiritual to a material, that's why everybody is saying, I don't understand what this Sikhi Dharam is talking about, because it doesn't seem spiritual. One of the reasons why I started this was because people had said to me that I need to go find spirituality somewhere else. Sikhi doesn't have any spirituality. And that hurt me, because I knew that I come from the house of spirituality, from the king of spirituality. If you want to know what spirituality is, you go to Guru Nanak. Because what Guru Nanak Dev Ji did was he took all the actions out and focused on the meaning. The very first verse of Japji Sahib specifically negates traditions that thought that spiritual action was the most important thing. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. He starts the Japji Sahib, the first verse of Japji Sahib, by saying, bathing is not going to clean you. Socha soch na hovai. The word here, soch, means bathing. We see an example of this in Sukhmani Sahib, where Bani says, Soch kari dins arat man ki mail na tante jaat. I bathe my body all the time, but the filth of the mind doesn't leave when I clean the body. Socha soch na hovai. By cleaning the body, by purifying the outside, you will not be pure on the inside. Real purity doesn't come. Now think about what some of the traditions are that you might assume are spiritual. I only eat these foods, I only eat that food. I only bathe these times of day, or I bathe several times a day. What are you cleaning? Your mind or your body? You're cleaning the body. Whether you're doing an internal detox or you're doing an external cleanse, you still haven't even begun to understand that it isn't the external. You know, Guru Nanak Dev Ji addresses this further on in Japji Sahib. He addresses the people who thinks that by cleaning on the outside they become spiritual. So we have to keep thinking about what is the Guru trying to say. Pariye hat pair tan de pani tote utras ke. When your hands and feet are covered in dirt, you can use some water to clean it. And if your clothes are dirty, you can use some soap to clean it. Mut paliti kapad hoye, de sabun laye oye dhoye. if your clothes are stained. But Guru asks, you've got clean body, you've got nice shiny clean clothes, but what are you going to do with all the filth of your mind? How do you begin to clean that? You might have a perfectly shiny white body. What are you going to do with all the filth that you're carrying around in your mind? What are you going to do with that? This is what Guru Nanak Sikhi is. Pariye mat papa ke sang, o tope nave ke rang. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I can see something that's still dirty that you're not willing to show anyone. I can see it. And he says, I also have the ultimate soap, the ultimate cleanser. Why? Because Guru Nanak Dev Ji realized that cleaning from the outside doesn't help. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is talking about these things. Soche soch na hovei je sochi lakwar. Chuppe chup na hovei je lai raha liftar. Guruji addresses silent meditation. Now, Guruji is not saying don't do it ever. But Guruji is saying, don't think that just by doing something for a short amount of time, you will have everlasting silence of the mind. Anyone been on a silent retreat or tried some silence meditation? How long does a silence last? It lasts for a little bit. It works. It's good. In fact, it's a very good practice. You start to learn not to listen to the noise of the mind. It's not bad doing it. But Guru says, I've got a technique that works. There's another technique of the person who says that I'm going to be so pure that I'm going to control everything that I eat. I'm only going to eat good things, or I'm going to eat very little. Pukhya pukh na utari. There's another way to translate that line. Those are for the people who say, I don't need spirituality. All the things that I need, I can go out there into the real world and I can just collect whatever I want. I can collect a nice house, nice cars, good food, good clothes. The Guru says, Je banna puriya par. Banna means if you tie all the things that you can buy in the whole world, if you tie them all together and hold on to them, Pukhya pukhna utri. The internal hunger doesn't get satisfied. There's something inside you that will never get satisfied. Because you have to ask yourself the question, why am I buying these things? Most people listen to the thought, but the thought isn't the first thing that comes. Think about it. We're talking about food and pukhya, yeah, eating. Does the thought come to your mind first, pizza? Or does the thought first comes, oh, there's something feeling empty inside. Oh, I know, I'll have some pizza. Which one comes first? The hunger or just the food comes first? Sometimes the food comes first. But if you're doing it to satisfy a hunger, the hunger has to come first, then the thought comes. So, the thought to buy something is also a type of hunger. But we've never understood this type of hunger. We've never understood, why do I want to buy something? I always stress, this is not about not buying anything. Gurbani doesn't hold the view that you should be someone who renounces the material world, walks away from the material world, says, I don't want a house, I don't want a family, I don't want to have kids, I don't want to buy a car, I don't want to have a TV in my house. All these things that we think, oh, I'm a bit above this. Rejection and being a renunciate isn't what Guru is talking about. Guru says, just understand the underlying causes. So why do you feel like you want to buy things all the time? Something to think about. What is the hunger behind it? The hunger behind it says, I'm not happy. The thought that comes after that is, oh, there's a sale on, why don't you go buy some stuff? And you do it. We all do it. Let's go to the shops, let's buy some stuff. And you come home and you're very happy with all your shopping bags. So look at all the stuff I bought. Did you ever have this? Where you come home and then you run straight upstairs because you don't want to show your parents what you bought? Because your parents will say to you, any mangi cheez? Like so expensive. I used to do that. Come home from shopping, run straight upstairs, and then only bring one bag down and say, Mum, this is what I bought. Because she's going to ask, what have you bought? Oh, this is all I bought. Because we know we don't need these things. But as soon as somebody challenges you, did you really need all these things? You say, oh, Mum, you won't understand. It's fashion. You don't know. And then the parents try to convince you, I know about fashion. But we never really ask this question, why do I feel this hunger inside? And is this the right food for this hunger? Is this the right food for this hunger? See, we don't do that with our bodies. When we feel hungry, anything will fill this body. Whether you have carrots or cucumbers or you have pizza or noodles or anything, you just keep filling. And then you don't know when to stop. And you keep eating and you keep consuming. You know what they say? They say it takes 20 minutes for the brain to realize that the stomach is full. Have you ever noticed you keep eating something? And you say, I can keep going. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm stuffed. I've eaten too much. What happened? The stomach was full 20 minutes ago. But you kept eating. So the mind is not really reliable. You have to understand, your mind is not really reliable. It doesn't even know when you're full. So when your mind says to you, go and buy some stuff, you're not feeling great, you have to understand that's not necessarily the best advice. Buying stuff doesn't always make you happy. It makes you happy for a little bit. So when the thought comes that I need to go and look for happiness out there, what the thought should really be is what is happening in here first. Before you decide what you're going to use to fill that, what is this hunger? What is this emptiness? What is this void that I feel inside me? That void, that emptiness that you feel inside you, that you think will be filled by making you happy and going outside and buying something, that void is something that you and me have all been blessed with. You've been blessed with a hunger inside. You've been blessed with a feeling that nothing else that I buy seems to ever fill that void. And we spend our whole life in this cycle. When you're young, you're told you have to do all of your studies so that you get a good job. Why do you want to get a good job? So you can get some money to buy stuff. And it's not that you don't need to buy things. You need to buy a house, you need to have a car, you need to have some clothes. Anyone ever looked at their cupboard and say, I have too many clothes? Yes? Anybody looked in their cupboard and said, I have too many clothes, but I'm not going to be tempted to buy anything more? No, because something good comes along. I always have this argument with my wife. She goes and she finds something nice and she buys it. And I said, I think you have about 3 of those. And she says, yeah, but I'll use this one as well. And I'm the complete opposite. Like if I have 1 pair of shoes, only when those pair of shoes are broken, then I say, oh, those blue shoes, I need to replace those blue shoes. Or if I have some walking boots, I wait for them to be finished. And she says, oh, there's some good walking boots, do you want to buy it? I said, no, I have some. I don't need to buy any. So we have to understand that there are impulses inside of us that aren't necessarily the right thing for us. So this is why I say that first understand the hunger that's inside you. Understand that you and me and everyone has been born with that hunger. And that hunger will not be filled by you getting a good job and buying nice stuff. It's good, go and buy those things, but don't underestimate how big this book is inside you. Don't underestimate how deep this hole of emptiness is inside you. So then you get the nice job and you get some money and you buy the nice house. And then maybe even you're so successful, you say, Mom, Dad, I'm going to buy my own house. I don't want to live here anymore. You buy your own house, you're happy for a while, call all your friends around, have a great time, always parties, always having lots of good fun. You say, yeah, I'm living a great life. And then one day the thought comes that says, I've bought everything, but still not doing anything for me. So money, when we're younger, what are we told about money? Money doesn't buy you happiness. But when you grow up, you spend all of your life chasing after money so that you can buy happiness. You can buy stuff that makes you happy. So what you're told as a child, you ignore as a grown-up. Even though as a child you're told money doesn't buy you happiness. But then you spend the rest of your life chasing after it. What's going on? Because it isn't the money and the stuff that you buy that we need to be educated about. It's the hunger that we need to be educated about. But because we're not educated about our own internal void, and then we don't know how to fill it, so we just keep filling it. So you buy the house, you get the great house, you got your own place, you're having parties all the time. What thought comes into your mind? I'm bored. I've done everything. If money buys you happiness, then ask yourself this question: are the richest people in What do you think? Are the richest people in the world the happiest people in the world? Are all the great celebrities and all the greatest billionaires, are they the happiest? They're not, are they? I tell you why they're not the happiest people in the world. Because, unlike you and me, there's always some more happiness that we can buy. The richest people in the world, imagine they wake up one morning and they realize, I've got nothing left to buy, I've got everything. How disheartening must that feeling be when you still feel empty inside, but you look all around you, say, I've bought everything, I don't have anything more to buy. I already got the private jet outside and the helicopter and all the rich expensive cars, and I've got a house here and a house there. I got nothing else to buy, but I still feel empty inside because he didn't have training on what this empty feeling is inside. So we do that, we try and buy things and we get the idea, I'm a little bit bored. You say, okay, I think I should get married now. That'll make me happy. Wrong. It'll make you happy for a little bit, but then what? You get bored. The happiness doesn't last. Then you say, let's have some kids. We think kids will make us happy. Oh, it'll be so great. We'll have a baby. And then the baby comes along and you're thinking, we were so much happier without this baby. Now what do we do? And you say, let's have another baby. So the one baby can look after the other baby. Big mistake. Now you got two babies. We were so much happier with one baby. It was so easy with one baby. Now we got two. So then you say, I can't wait till the babies grow up. When they grow up, they'll leave the house. Then I'll get my life back. So they grow up, they leave the house, and then you're lonely again because you don't want to just be with your husband or your wife anymore. Then you call the babies back, you say, have some grandchildren, we'll look after the grandchildren. And then the cycle continues. All this time, you haven't understood that there's a hunger inside you, and that's what you need to be looking at. Because nobody ever talks about it. Guru Sahib talks about it, Gurbani talks about it, but we don't talk about it. Guru Sahib starts Gurbani by saying that there's a book inside you that won't be filled. There's a hunger inside you that won't be filled. Je banna puriya par. Some people have a hunger inside them, and the way they like to feel superior is by having lots of arguments with people. They think they're so clever. You find a lot of these people on social media sitting behind their keyboards, yeah, having long, long debates about every trivial little discussion. Yeah? Because they feel happy for the little bit of time that they think, I'm very smart. If you're so smart, why do you need to prove everyone how smart you are? Be smart. Go be smart somewhere else. Why do you have to keep telling everyone else? Because there's a hunger inside them. There's a hunger inside them that says, I need to feel smart. I know I'm smart, but nobody else knows I'm smart. And Guruji talks about these internet warriors as well, 500 years ago. Yeah? Says Syanapa lakh hoye ta ek na challe naal. Even if you have millions of clever ideas, none of them are going to stay with you. So then Guruji says, well, what is the right answer? Give satyara hoye, give kure tutte pal. How do I get rid of all the falsehood in my life? And the answer is something that is unique to Gurmat, unique to Guru Nanak's spiritual tradition. He says, rather than doing lots of things, understanding the oneness and the will of the universe is your spiritual path. Hukam razai chalana, Nanak likhya naal. And then Guruji says, now I'll explain to you, Nanak likhya naal. There's two ways of describing that line. Either the hukam that is with you, Nanak tere naal likhya. What the hukam that is within you, the hukam of who you are. Or, hukam razai chalana, Nanak likhya naal. Hukam, walk on the path of hukam, and Nanak will now explain, which is the next line, hukmi hovanakar, all those shabads. Guru Nanak Dev Ji brings a technique of spirituality that we haven't seen before. Because in all the previous techniques, it relied on you having to do something. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says you don't have to do something, you have to understand something. You have to realize something. Because in the previous ones, they said, as long as you go bathe in this holy river, you will be okay. There's some God somewhere and he's looking at you and he'll say that you've done good, you've bathed in the right river. What about all the people sitting on the other side of the planet? They don't have a chance to bathe in this river. They'll say, oh, that's their bad luck, that's their bad karam. Have we done something like that to Sikhi now? Where we think doing the right things means that the Babaji in the sky will be happy with us. Your parents say to you, Japji Sahib padho. Do Japji Sahib in the morning. Why do we do Japji Sahib in the morning? Oh, because Babaji. The Babaji will do something. Babaji will give you whatever you want. These things don't work anymore. Now that answer, this doesn't work for young children. Because they're seeing that everybody gets birthday presents, everybody gets nice things in the world. Why am I having to do this stuff? And still you don't give me as good presents as what my friends get. So, we have to understand Sikhi from a mat level, not from an action level. From a wisdom, not from a set of things that need to be done. So what is this wisdom? We started by saying that yoga means union. Who is uniting with what? Are you uniting with God? And if you are uniting with God, then can it be ever that you merging with God is one light, ek jyot? Think about this analogy. this understanding. We're trying to get to a formula. I'll give you a simple example. A formula where the answer is God. Yeah? There's me, and there's a God, and the answer is God. If there's a me and a God, will me plus God equal God? If there's me on one side, and you adding something, me plus God, it doesn't ever equal God. What do you have to do to the equation? God minus me equals God. God plus me can never equal God. God minus me equals God. So who's uniting? What is the process of uniting? So yoga should not actually be understood as uniting, because that makes me think that I have to unite with God. The real understanding of yoga is not union, but is that you are letting go of yourself. Union means I unite with you. But maybe I can never unite with you. I just have to get rid of me, and then all that is left is you. So what does that mean in our daily life? In our daily life, it means the practice of spirituality, the practice of all spiritual traditions, the practice of yoga is to erase yourself. Now what actions are you going to do to erase yourself? Because we may have been walking around the whole time thinking, I am doing yoga. I am doing part. I am growing my hair. I am a Gursik. Where is the deleting in that? This is not the path of you adding more things to who you are. This is the path of letting go. Let go of yourself. So how do we begin to do that? And this is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji starts with when Guruji talks about ik. That the answer is always one. Connecting with the oneness. But right now, there is a you and there is a oneness. And in order to get one with the one, we have to delete you. The word in Gurbani for this is ha main, me, myself. The myself is the barrier. What are we connecting with? We are connecting with that which is within us and that which is all around us. And Guruji has used the phrase Oankar. Oankar. Oankar, if you look at all of the best scholars within Sikhi, they have said that Oankar means Om. Today, think about most people, what they're trying to do with Sikhi is they're saying, oh, that's nothing to do with Sikhi. Om. You might see it in yoga studios, you might see it in Hindu mandirs. Om is that universal vibration. And all the Sikh scholars, the best Sikh scholars, have said that Oankar is the vibration of Om. But what Guru Nanak Dev Ji did was, rather than focus on the vibration of Om, Guru Nanak Dev Ji brought the message of oneness to make sure that you don't, even in the vibration of Om, see many different things. Have you ever noticed that the Om symbol looks like a number 3? Looks like a number 3. There's a reason why it looks like a number 3. Because in the Om says that the whole universe can be broken into 3 different things, the Trimurti. And even we talk about this. Have you ever heard Ik Oankar? Oankar is creator, sustainer, destroyer. That comes from Om. People don't like to talk about these things. They think Sikhi's got nothing to do with this. They need to be educated. All the scholars say that the Trimurti, the 3 of creator, sustainer, destroyer, is what the Om message already was. Guru Nanak Dev Ji clarified that behind the Trimurti there is a oneness. Ik Oankar. So what are we talking about? Guru Nanak Dev Ji wants you to understand that the whole universe that looks like lots of different things in reality has one energy going through all of it. One life force. Call it a vibration, call it a sound. The truth is, whatever word you put to this, it's always going to be the wrong word. Because you can't put a word to this. Even Oankar is not a word. It is an attempt to put a sound to something that has no sound. Or it is the silent sound. This is where it starts becoming very difficult to talk about these things. But I like to simplify them as much as I can. So the easiest word that I like to understand this oneness is aliveness. Hands up in this room, who isn't alive right now? You're all alive, good. Oh, one? No, I thought one hand came up. Everyone is alive in this room right now. Your aliveness is again something that you've never thought about. You know, if you walk into the room and you switch the light on and the light doesn't come on, you know, without being an electrician, you know that there's something that's gone wrong. You never seen electricity, but you know, oh, the electricity's gone. You don't have to study electronics and physics to understand that there's some thing called electricity, current. What is electricity? Can we explain it into normal words? Normal people like you and me can't. Some scientists might use some words, electron, neutron, all these sorts of things, and we'll get confused. But you and me all know what electricity is, even though we don't know what it is. In the same way, you and me all know what aliveness is. You're all alive. There's some electricity inside you, and there's something switched on inside you. Can you put a word to this? No. Can we really explain it? The likes of you and me, we can't. Maybe the great spiritual electricians can find a way to describe this. But ordinary folks like you and me, we struggle to put words to these things. So there is something inside you, and it's connected to your hunger. That spiritual hunger that you have inside you. That spiritual hunger is a blessing because it can never be filled by external things. And hopefully, after you buy all the things that you want in the world, one day you may come to the realization that says, this thing doesn't get filled. Maybe I need to go and have a look at it. What is this hole that can never be filled? Because at first you just keep throwing things down the hole. You think eventually it'll come to the top, but it doesn't. Eventually say, I need to go down to that hole and see what there is. we have to go within ourselves to see what's there. And that means that we have to start letting go of all the things that we're in love with on the outside. Say, Mum, Dad, I need to go on a journey. I've tried the journey of the outside, and the journey of the outside hasn't delivered. I'm not going anywhere, but I've got to go in here. I've got to find what this is. I need to find what is at the bottom of this emptiness. And that is the start of the spiritual tradition. To know yourself better. How many people in this room would say that they have a soul? Hands up. How many people say, I have a soul? Hands up. Nice and clear. Higher. Let me see it. Keep your hands up. How many of you have seen your soul? But you're all convinced that you have a soul, yeah? How do you know? Everyone says they have a soul. Huh? Yeah, but at least with electricity, you can switch something on and you can see. Is your soul connected to your emotions? You should tell me because you have one. We all think we have a soul. Nobody's ever seen the soul. Maybe if you go on your inner journey, you might actually find it. No point just being happy that I have a soul. Go have a look. Maybe there's some happiness there that does something more for you than all the outside happiness that you've been trying to buy. So how do we go on this inner journey? Guruji starts by saying, Hukam razai chalana. The start of this journey is to accept. And that is a type of detachment. Attachment means I'm going to decide what everything's happened is going to happen because I'm quite important. And I know what's good for me and I know what's bad for me. And these are the things I like and these are the things I don't like. But that isn't actually helping us. That's an emotional roller coaster that we've been on for far too long, and it hasn't actually delivered anything. Detachment is the point at which you start saying, whether something is good or bad, I have to accept the way it is right now. Remember, this is the first teaching. The first question that's ever asked in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Kiv sachara hoye, kiv koode tutte pal, hukam razai chalana, walk on the path of hukam, is the answer to the first question ever asked in Guru Granth Sahib. So it's a pretty big one. We need to understand it a little bit more. Detachment is the path of yoga. Not that you have to merge with something, but you have to let go. Let go of your sense of control. Let go of your attachments to material things. Let go of your attachments to your past. Let go of your attachments to your memories. Let go to your attachments of your ideas and your thoughts. Let go of your attachment to yourself. Can you let go of the attachment to your own self? Every sentence that we say, it actually brings up more questions. What do you mean I have to let go of myself? Then you might ask, well, what is the self that I have to let go of? And who's letting go of who? You see, this is not an easy journey. And Gurbani even tells you, this isn't easy. Guruji uses a beautiful analogy that says how difficult this is. And Guru says, Khanyo tikhi valo nikki. You're going to walk on a tightrope. I want you to imagine this. Anyone been on a circus? You've been to the circus? And you see somebody walking on a very, very thin rope, and you're sitting there and you're worried. I think he's going to fall. And then he doesn't just go to the other side, then he comes and he rides a bike onto that tightrope. And you think, now he's definitely going to fall. And then he gets rid of the bike, and then he's on a unicycle with one wheel, and then he's balancing a sword at the top of his head. You think, ye to banda gaya hona. This guy's gone. But that's still a rope. That's quite scary, but it's still a rope. You can say a rope is maybe 1 inch or 2 inches thick. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, if you want to be a Sikh, you're walking on a much thinner rope. Valo nikki, a rope as thin as a single strand of hair. And you're walking on that barefoot. And it's not just a single strand of hair that you're walking barefoot, it's as sharp, razor sharp. That's the path of walking on here. What does that analogy mean? Khanyo tikhi, tikhi means sharp. As sharp as a razor's blade. Sharp, razor sharp. Like a khanda, like a weapon. Valo nikki. Why is that the path that we have to walk on? Surely Guru Nanak Dev Ji could have given us an easier path. Come on, Guru Nanak. Why such a difficult path? We have to understand that with every single line of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, there's a message. There's something that we can learn out of that. Guruji is speaking to us to teach us something. A path that is so thin, if you ever walked on a tightrope, you'll notice what happens. You keep falling off. So imagine a tightrope so thin, like a single strand of hair. What's going to happen? You're going to keep falling off this path. And what does that mean in real life? That if this is the journey of detachment, you're going to keep falling off. If this is the journey of letting go of yourself, of letting go of your ego, you're going to keep falling off this path. The shiny, bright world outside, we might call it Maya, that's going to keep grabbing you. There's someone trying to grab you. Not only is this hard enough that you're trying to walk on a tightrope as thin as a single strand of hair, barefoot with a razor-sharp blade, there's someone trying to get you as well and poke and prod at you at the same time. That's Maya. Maya is the attraction of the world. And at every second, you're going to keep falling off that tightrope. That's what it means to walk on something so thin. Why is it sharp? When you're walking barefoot on something so sharp, what happens? You keep getting cut. And in the path of spirituality, the ego, the mare, keeps getting hurt. You say, what do you mean I have to let go of my children? What do you mean I have to let go of my family? What do you mean I have to let go of all the things I love? But we have to understand the letting go doesn't mean walking away. There's a difference. The other spiritual paths said that in order to walk on their spiritual path, you have to walk away from the path of the world. This is the Buddhist dharam. Walk away from the world. How did Buddha gain enlightenment? He was a prince. He was rich. But he had to walk away. And if you ask the true Buddhist, they say you have to walk away from your spiritual attachments to achieve the height of spiritual enlightenment. You can do a little bit in your everyday path, but to reach the height of spiritual enlightenment, you have to be a renunciate, just as our Mahapurush, Mahatma Buddha was. This is no discrimination against any tradition. This is the fact. I just come from Thailand, from Bangkok. And the Sikh children are saying, why do we have to grow our hair? Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do that? And because being a Buddhist country, they say, oh, Buddhism, so beautiful. Such a beautiful religion. I love Buddhism. The truth of the matter is, Buddhism has managed to find a way to show the world that there is peace and happiness in spirituality. For some reason, the Sikhs, we're still managing to tell our own children that this is a struggle. You have to keep your hair, you have to do this, you have to do that. And our children are saying, why do we have to have this big struggle? Not all Sikhs, not all children, but some of them. And even parents are saying, this is a struggle. Why is it so difficult? But Guruji told you, this is a difficult path. But you don't have to walk away from your family. You know, when Guru Nanak Dev Ji was going to get married, as a young man, maybe in his teenage years, early teenage years, he was already known as a spiritual person, very well famous, known as a spiritual person. And all the spiritual masters came to him and said, hey, what are you doing? You're making a mistake. You can't get married. You're spiritual. Come with us. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji rejected that. He said, I don't want to go be spiritual, sitting in a cave somewhere, meditating in a cave somewhere. He said, how does that help the whole world? Everybody gets married, has children, has a job. They said, yeah, but you can't be spiritual and do all these things. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I'm going to prove it to you. Why am I going to prove it to you? Because we need to find a path that helps every single man, woman and child on this planet Earth. This is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's spirituality. The path of letting go but not walking away. So you stay within your family, you stay within your job, you stay within the maya of the house and the money, have your nice house, have the cars, have the nice clothes, have the husband, the wife, the children. But within all of that, I'll give you a technique, Guruji says. And that technique is Naam. But this is why it's so difficult. Because on this path, the thing that keeps distracting you, the thing that keeps making you fall off, is the things that are all around you. Your family, your responsibilities, your attachments. So this is the path of letting go, of being detached while you are in all of the surroundings of and all the trappings of Maya. So, what are we doing? Do we think that being a Sikh just means that we go to the Gurudwara and do the Sikh things? Or do we understand that this is a wisdom of finding something deep within ourselves? Guru says the more that you let go of those things, the more that you can accept hukam, the more you will be able to understand what is deep within you. Let go of the attachment to your house, let go of the attachment to your family and all the other things. Let go of the attachment of your mind, let go of the attachment of your body, then what is left? Then Guruji says, Man tu jot saroop hai apna mool pachan. Oh my mind, there's something else except you all the time. There is light inside you. Apna mool pachan, recognize that which is inside you. So that which you thought was a hunger, when you went and looked at it, it wasn't a hunger, it was a light that was switched on. And the light looked like a hunger, so that you kept trying to go inside it. But we didn't try to go inside it, we kept trying to feed it. The light says, I don't want to be fed, I want you to know me. Come look at me. That's why it kept calling you. It called you with the hunger. So you kept trying to fill it. But the Guru is saying, look within yourself. And when you look within yourself, you see it's not a dark, empty pit. It's a bright, shining light. Apna mool pachan. So, the path of yoga is to let go of the external and to go internal, to go within yourself. So now the question is, how do I go within myself? What do I need to do that I can look within myself, that I can remain within the spiritual path, but somehow be detached from it? And Guru Nanak Dev Ji confirms how difficult this path is. There's a beautiful Shabad where Guruji says how difficult it is to do Naam Simran while you're in the world of Maya. But Guruji confirms that this isn't the path of letting go. Guru says, this is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Shabad, Ras soina, ras rupa kaman, ras parmal ki vas. Guruji in this Shabad is talking about all the tasty things in the world, all the things that feel nice. The pleasure of gold and silver, shiny things. The pleasure of having your partner, of a man having a woman in their life. Ras soina, ras rupa, kaman, the woman. Ras parmal ki vas, even the nice pleasure of fragrances, perfumes. Notice all the things within your life that you think, oh, that'll make me a little bit happy. Buying this, buying that, even having the company of a partner in your life. Rasa kore, rasa seja mandir. Nice healthy horses. Today we can talk about big cars. Even that's a pleasure. Ras seja, a comfortable bed. Even that's a pleasure. That's the pleasure that doesn't want you to help to wake up in the morning. I'll stay in my comfortable bed. I don't need to get up and do part. Guruji knows these things. Rasa kore, ras seja mandir. Mandir is your house. Your house is also something that you enjoy. You know, when you go on holiday, sometimes you go on a long journey, you come back and you say, oh, I'm home. Even though you've been somewhere nice, there's nothing like coming home. Because you're home. Guruji says, yeah, that's a pleasure. Ras kore, ras seja mandir, ras meetha, ras mas. The taste of pleasures, that's something that we're all addicted to. Sweet tastes, salty tastes, this taste of meat, even Guruji is saying in here, there's a ras. All of these things, ete ras sarir ke ghat naam nivas. With all of these pleasures of the body, who's actually got Naam Simran inside them? But the Guru doesn't say let go of all of these things and walk away from them. Some people think that you have to give up all of these things. What are you going to give up? You're going to give up a house and have no house? You're going to give up your family and have no one around you? You're going to give up clothes? You're going to give up a bed? How much can you give up? And if you give up all those things, you still haven't given up enough things. Within you, there's still more things that you can be attached to. You can give up all external things, but this is the path of not just giving up those easy external things. You have to detach yourself from internal things, your thoughts, your emotions. Guruji says with all of these tasty flavors, it's very hard to do Naam Simran. So the Guru recognizes that this isn't easy. But still the Guru wants you to walk on this path. Because Guruji recognizes that the outside world only delivers sadness. Nanak dukhiya sab sansar. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I've walked around the whole world and I've seen everyone is sad. Everyone is empty. We don't know that we're empty, but Guru Nanak Dev Ji knows. Guru Sahib knows that you're walking around the whole world and you're empty. Why are you empty? Because you keep trying to fill it with things. Nanak dukhiya sab sansar. We might walk around and say, look how happy those people are. Look, they bought a nice house. Look, they done this, they done that. They got nice clothes, big car. Look how happy they are. Children are often doing that as well. Mom, Dad, why can't I have what my friends have? Why? Because what they're thinking is my friends look happier than me. We have a saying in English, the grass is always greener on the other side. There's always something on the other side that looks better than what you have. But Gurbani is saying there's something even greener on the inside. There's some flowers and some green blossoming inside you. But when you sit with the distractions of the world, you can't find it. When you sit with the spiritually like-minded people, then you'll find it. Mera man saad jana mila harya. The grass looks greener on the other side. Guru Nanak says you have the most green, beautiful harya blossoming thing inside you. But you only know it when you sit with other spiritual people and you talk about these things. And Guruji says, my mind is blossoming when I sit with spiritual people, when I meet with them, when I do Veechar with them, when I do Kirtan with them, when I do Naam Simran with them. So everyone's calling Sikhi the religion. I don't call Sikhi a religion. I call it the method of happiness. Because the whole world has told you that there's another method of happiness, and that's called money buys you happiness. That's what the whole world has told you. That's the method of happiness. Go outside and you'll find your happiness. Gurbani says, go inside and you'll find your happiness. It's a long road. It's sharp. It's very thin. There's going to be lots of opportunities for you to fall. Loads of different distractions. It's going to be hard for you to remember to do Naam. But there is some happiness waiting for you. And that happiness is right here inside you. That thing that you thought was a book, that thing that you thought was an emptiness inside you, was an ishara, was an indicator for you that no matter what you throw in here, this is a deep void. It looks like a void, but when you go into it, you realize it's not a void. It's a bright, shining light. It's not even a light. Even a light, every description of this thing you have to understand is going to be incomplete. Why is it that this light inside you is full of happiness? Because it's not your light. It's not your soul. It's the divine. Sab mein jyot, jyot hai soe. It's not your light. This is why I asked before, you think you have a soul? You don't have a soul. You have a light, and it's not your light. It's the divine light. Sab mein jyot, jyot hai soe, tis de chanan, sab mein chanan hoye. When this light is shining, all the lights are shining. It's like the generator, you know, when the light switch, you switch it on. When you switch it on, the light comes on, you don't have to think about the electricity. You only think about electricity when it doesn't switch on. You only think about God when your life is coming to an end. While it's here, you think about all these trivial things. When your life is going to be taken away from you, then you think, oh, there was actually something here that I had to do. Then maybe when your soul, when your light, when your Atma goes And maybe you get asked the question, Abi, what did you do with your life? Did you find your light? So no, I didn't find my light. Can I try again, please? Then maybe you come back. You come back, and then you open your eyes, Mama, Dada, and you've forgotten it all again. The external world distracts you. It's not easy, is it? What are we going to do? So, as a solution to this huge problem, Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I have a key. You know, if you're in a prison, the man with the key is the king. If you're in a prison and the man has a key and he has a map how to get out of this prison, then you're taking him with you. Ah yaar, tu mere naal aaja. You come with me. We're in a prison and the Guru has the key, and the Guru has a map, and the Guru has a torch. And this path is lined with people who've been on this path before, and they're there to hold your hands all along the way. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Angad Dev Ji, Guru Amar Das Ji, Sheikh Farid Ji, Bhagat Nam Dev Ji, Bhagat Tanna Ji, Bhagat Ramanand Ji, Bhagat Kabir Ji. This path is lined with people waiting to help you along the way, because they know it's a tightrope, you're going to fall off. And they know that Maya is trying to get you all the time, but they're also there. On this tightrope, they're also there. And they have one key that they keep handing to you, and that key is Naam. Naam is your key, and Gurbani is the map showing you how to use that key. And the Bhagats are all the people, and the Gurus are all the ones who've done it. They said, yep, keep going. We've been there. We know. We've seen the happiness at the end of this journey. And while they're holding your hands, they're singing Kirtan at the same time. So they're making you happy while you're on the journey. They're doing Naam Simran at the same time. Maybe one time you'll get to the point that says, I don't even need to get to the end. Right here I'm in Anand, just with you, just sitting and doing Naam Simran and doing Kirtan with you. Because Kirtan and Naam Simran is the key to happiness. You think you can buy happiness, the outside happiness doesn't last. You know, famously, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, when he met Babar offered him marijuana. Guru Nanak was offered marijuana. And he said, yeah, it's all right. You can get high with this, but that high is going to come down. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I've got something where the nasha doesn't wear off. I've got something that'll make you so high, you can't come back. And that's Naam. But it doesn't mean that all the time you're always going to be flying. What he means is this Naam Simran doesn't run out. The reason you're going to fall off is because your mind is going to go towards external attractions. But Naam Simran is a medicine that doesn't wear off. It's not that you take a little bit and then you look at the bottle and say, oh, bottle's empty. This one keeps filling itself up. It's a medicine. But what have we done to Sikhi? We keep going to the doctor and we say, Doctor, I'm not happy. And he says, okay, take this medicine. You go home, you throw the medicine away. You come back the next day, you say, Doctor, I'm not happy. He says, okay, take this medicine. You go home, you throw the medicine away. You come back and you say, Doctor, I'm not happy. And then you start telling the doctor what you think the medicine is. I think I'm not happy because I need to get this, this, and this. So you go to the doctor and you start showing him your list. He's the one supposed to write the prescription for you. You start showing him, no, actually, I don't want your medicine. Can you give me these, please? You know, nowadays, You don't go to the doctor, you go to Baba Google first. You self-prescribe. So I've got a headache, I've got these symptoms, you start Googling it. Do we know more than the doctor who's been studying this for years? Baba Google knows everything, huh? So you start going to the Guru and you start saying, Guruji, can I have this and can I have this and can I have that? And the Guru says, what about that medicine I gave you? It hasn't run out, it's still there. Maybe you say, oh Guru, I tried that, it didn't work. No, you didn't try it properly. You didn't know what you were doing with it. If you're supposed to take a medicine that you have in your eyes and you start rubbing it on your skin, it's not going to work, is it? If you're superficially doing Naam Simran on the outside, but you're not doing Naam Simran on the inside, then you haven't taken that medicine in. Guru says you're supposed to take that medicine in, don't just rub it on your skin. This is a medicine for your mouth. And Guru uses this analogy. Mera Ved, Guru Gobinda. My Guru is my doctor. Har har naam aukhad mukh deva. He's given me the medicine of Naam in my mouth. This is a medicine because sansara rogi naam daru. The whole world is ill. You and me, we're all ill. You think you're healthy? It doesn't matter what you do on the outside, doesn't matter how clean clothes you wear, doesn't matter how pure food you eat, you're still diseased. The whole world is diseased. What is the disease? Haume dirag rog hai. The disease is I am. And as long as you're saying I am, your disease hasn't gone. Naam Simran is to get rid of the disease of I am. Detachment, so much that you detach from the one that you call me. Let go of that person and then you'll find God. So this is the path, as I've for the last few minutes been able to try and share with you. It is difficult. It is challenging. It is going to hurt. It is going to challenge you. But if you know how to do it with people who have done it before, Gurbani says the most important thing that you can do is to have Sangat with you. Sangat means the other people who are trying to get out of the jail. Sad Sangat, the ones who have been out. Sant Sangat, the ones who've been out and come back and tell you how to get out. These are all the different things that help you along your way. If you keep saying, I'm happy in my prison because I've put some nice stuff that I bought in sale. I'll put it in this prison, so I'm happy here. Then don't complain. Don't complain that every time I buy stuff, it runs out of happiness. So I need to buy more stuff. We don't complain, do we? We don't even think about it. If you're happy in your prison, that's fine. Maybe one day you might look at all the people who are running out of prison and they're singing and they're clapping with joy. They're saying, hey, we're free. You say, yeah, I'm free. I'm free to do whatever I want in this prison. Where do you want to be? This is what Sikhi is. This is what the Guru is. This is what Gurbani is. It is a way out. And you know what? The whole world is looking for this way out. The whole world is looking for happiness, and we are sitting with the Guru of happiness. The whole world says, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to go on a spiritual retreat to find myself. And the Guru has been sitting here all along with all the answers. So it is a bit difficult, but breaking out of prison is never easy. But is it worth it? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Am I ready to break out of prison? Am I ready to try a happiness that is unlike anything else that I've ever seen before? The happiness that says, even if you come and take my body away, I'm still happy. Even if you cut my children up in front of me and put it on a har around my neck, I'm still happy. Even if you cut me from limb, you can't take this away from me. Even if you chop my head off, you can't take this away from me. Even if you boil me alive, you can't take this away from me. Even if you saw me in half, you can't take this away from me. What do you think all those shaheeds were for? They were to show you how to be happy even in the hardest moments. Look at the stories. Bhai Satidas, Bhai Matidas, Bhai Dyalaji. When they were just about to be killed, they said, what's your final request? They said, let me look at my Guru so he can see how happy I am. Let me look. Let my Guru see me. Let my Guru see me. Because jab aav ki od nidhan bane atahi ran mein tab jooj maro. When the time comes, let me die in battle so gladly, so willingly. We think we have it hard. We maybe need to keep our hair, we need to do this, we need to do that. Nobody's coming to kill you. Nobody's coming to chop your body up. We can't compare to those great shaheeds. But there was a reason why they did it. They said, let my children know this is the path of happiness. They are there to remind us, and every day in the ardas, we remember those people. I'm not saying this to make you feel guilty. I'm saying this to set the context. That you can be so happy. You think you're not happy just because you don't buy the latest iPhone. But you can be so happy that even if someone is chopping your body up, because you found the true happiness, and that happiness comes from letting go of everything. That is the true meaning of Sikhi and the true meaning of yoga. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Okay, opportunity got. So by the grace of Guru Ramdas, we end this session, and as you know, Bhai Satpal is having a session this weekend. It will be at Khalsa week next week, and this is the future of Sikhi. Guru Gobind Singh has put these people all around the world. And what Bhai Satpal is doing